All right. How are you guys doing? We're coming from YCS Houston. What are your guys' names and what do you guys do?
I'm Justin Simnegar.
And I'm Julien Kehon, and today we both got top 32. By the way, my name is not Julien Kehon. It was a joke. Obviously, it was a joke. Anyone with a brain would get it. Shout out Triff.
But yeah, we both topped YCS Houston with the exact same Maliss list.
All right. Do you guys want to give out any shout outs here?
Yeah. First and foremost, shout outs to Swego.
Yeah. Honestly, I got a shout out Swego.
Yeah.
He let me, pretty much all these cards are his. So shout out to him. Big help. Otherwise, I would have been playing probably Bystial and I was sick of that deck. I wanted to play this deck. In my opinion, and in Jesse's opinion, if I may, this is the best deck in the room.
For sure.
We built it. You're gonna be like, oh, Lancia, whatever. We built it just to beat Lancia game 3 every time, and then we built it to win game 1, 80% of the time at least. So we had a very high win rate. Even through Lancia.
In a format where every single deck has these insanely powerful side deck cards that just absolutely destroy them, why wouldn't you play the deck with the absolute highest game 1 win rate? Our game 1 win rate has to be insane. And then after that, you only have to win 1 game post side. So, all the horror stories about getting double Lancia post side, that's like both games, that's super variance, right? You only need to win 1, and our win rate through Lancia is not even that bad.
No, yeah, literally.
Yeah. Also, shouts to this guy because we went to the VIP in San Francisco, and it was nice to have a buy in the final round of the VIP so I could acquire that. Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate that.
I had to do what I had to do for you to be able to talk, man.
Sure. Who lost round 1, by the way? I won round 1.
Yeah. Oh my god. I started day 1 down so bad. I lost round 1 to my opponent who, I don't want to be mean, but he was not very good. He just opened nice against me, and there was literally nothing I could do about it. And then from there, I was just digging out of the trenches. Win. Beat Tavion. Shout out to Tavion. I pulled a dad because he was a bounty duelist. And then I was X1 to finish day 1, and then ended the tourney X2, top 32. And then I played against Aditya in top 32. Probably the worst matchup for me to lose a Dyro. He was on water, so literally nothing I could do. I was 1 push away from winning game 1, but if I win the Dyro, I win that match. I win the game at least, and I probably win that match.
Yeah, I also ended X2, but I think both of my losses, at least one of them was fully in my control. I just misplayed. The second one, I'm not so sure, but yeah. And then I lost the dice roll to the mirror in Top Cut, and just drew terrible. Got challenged every game, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I tried my best, but
any other shout-outs?
Happy we top. Yeah, any other shout-outs? Shout-outs to our teams at Vegas. This list actually was my Vegas list. We didn't do that great, so I'm glad that we were able to convert with it today. Shouts to V for testing with us. Test with us all the time, which is great. Shouts to the Fenrir Discord. Shouts to the Card Game Homies Discord.
Shout out Carter, my local shop. I want to shout out Logan Shepard and Lucas Sago. They tested with me a bunch. And honestly, for some of the games, I was testing Feats with Bystial, but those games helped me realize I don't want to play that deck.
Is there any particular reason why?
It's the buy. Yeah.
Yeah, that deck is outdated at this point. I think it just can't beat Maliss.
To be fair, I came into this event thinking that Fiends with Bystial was going to be the most popular deck over Pure, which it was by the end of day 1. And this, the way we built our list, we'll get into that soon. It's just, that deck is the buy to us.
Okay.
Yeah, and then also shout out Game Parlor, shouts Guts as well.
Yeah, shout out Guts and Amai. Guts is the GOAT. Amai over here, he's the buy.
Yeah.
Really good technical player, but his deck building.
We gotta teach this guy how to build a Malice deck, bro. It's so crazy.
Was better. I was so cool.
Yeah.
Your build was out by day 1.
We were
but
both top 32.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right.
We love him, Mike. We love him.
All right. So you want to get into the cards?
Yeah.
Let's go.
So to start us off, the standard ratios: 3 Dormouse, 3 Rabbits. Then we played 3 Cats. I know some people want to play less than 3 Cats, but honestly, bricking can be an issue with this deck. So we want to play the max engine. We played 3 field spells, no terraforming, and the reason for that is because we played the Gold Shark and then the 3 allures. So our game plan, and I guess I'll just show the Bystials as well. We played the 7 Bystials. So our game plan, right, was normal stuff, name plus Bystial is auto win, and so or allure plus name is also auto win. So we wanted to just maximize the combos, those 2-card combos. While the 1-card combos are really good, you're still gonna open 2-card combos very often. And so we just wanted to maximize the possibility of seeing these combinations. even to like going first, like it's too easy. You open this, you open like Chessie plus Bystial, Mouse plus Bystial, you open Allure plus a Dormouse, GG.
Yeah, for what it's worth, we thought Terraforming was like fine, like we could have played it. But with our non-engine, we didn't want to sacrifice on a single one, and Terraforming was like by far the weakest starter. Because it's like it's an underground that loses to Ash basically, and does not two-card combo well with your Allure or your Bystial. So that was like the first thing that we could cut for a non-engine. Yeah, and apart from that, we maxed everything else just because seeing these cards in our hand is broken.
Yeah, because like Field Spell plus Bystial doesn't play through a hand trap. It still just plays through one hand trap, whereas Name plus Bystial plays through 2, sometimes 3, depending on the name and on the Bystial. And then, so that's for the engine, and then we'll keep the Allures here for a second because another great synergy with the Allure that kind of tied everything together, obviously we played one of each trap, was our 5 breakers. So 5 is like the golden ratio of like, you want to see one like 50% of the time. And then when you add the Allures, you're seeing them obviously like more often. And so the goal was really just to open one of these per game. In the mirror, obviously this card's broken, and you gotta think like the most represented decks are Maliss and Bystial, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, what you gotta do is you just gotta open these cards, and you pretty much just win. We played the 1 Slayer because I'll show it later. We played 3 Thrust in the side, and pretty much the goal for going second post side against Bystial was if you get Lanced, you just Slayer their board, and then try to stay alive.
Basically, we thought like the first one of each of these was better than the second one of either, right? Like we tried 2 talents, we tried more Slayers. At the end of the day, it just made sense to have the diversity, especially with the thrust in the side deck. We wanted our thrust to be as like broken as possible, just search every card basically.
Exactly, yeah. And then for our hand traps, we played the 3 Fua again because, I mean, going second, this card is too good. Draw into Allure, draw into Bystials, draw into Metaltronus, draw into Slayer, draw into the Breakers, too good. 3 Ash to beat the Chummies. And
honestly,
and it's just a good hand trap, like to beat Duo, right?
Yeah.
And then 3 Impulse. Like, I don't know if you were gonna say this, but Ash was probably like the worst card in our deck.
No, it was.
Because game 1, you honestly don't care about Charmies too much because what could your opponent even draw into? Once you full combo, obviously you're not gonna like give him like 17 draws to go full combo, but yeah, once you full combo, like you're good. And then this card, like a lot of the time, if I opened it with a breaker against like, for example, Fiends with Bystial, I would use it as a breaker. I would just hold it for the trap.
Yeah.
And then use a breaker on the board, and then use this for the trap, and now they have 0 disruptions.
Like Ash is super strong, but yeah, Talents was insanely popular this weekend. Like I feel like I was getting Talents every single round, and this was like basically the only card where I was forced to play into Talents. So it maybe could have been Imperm, but it's also like one of the best hand traps to have backing up your board.
Yeah.
Which is like fine, especially like, but what Julian was trying to say with the Fuas is like low key, especially post side, if we get Fuad, it almost doesn't matter. Like you're gonna go Cryptor, you're gonna give the 1 drawback, you're gonna cycle at least 2 cards through Chessie, more if you see Allure, and at that point that's
like,
just.
We're not seeing this card when I first though.
Oh yeah, true. But like, at the end of the day, Fua is like kind of a poor, or it's like an even trade for your opponent. And like having the Ash plus a Cryptor is like low-key better than ashing and trying to play super hard into combo, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not saying I'm not saying necessarily to cut this card. I don't even know what I would cut it for, but this card was okay. Definitely the weakest out of all this non-engine, but it's not necessarily
only just because talents though.
Yeah, only because of talents. And what I would do to play around talents a lot is I would ask my opponent before the match even began, just to not even like hint if I have Fua or not, is how many cards they're on. A lot of the time, if they were on 40 cards, I'd Fua and standby, because again, I don't care if they Fua me. I'm just, if you just pass on nothing and you Fua me, I'll probably just kill you and give you 1 draw. Just make Cryptor, Dormouse, like gain attack, GWC, you're dead. So I would, if they were on 40, I would Fua them in standby, because a lot of the time it's like pure or it's Maliss, where like they don't really, you don't really chain it to something to get a guaranteed draw. Whereas if they were on like 42, 43, I'd probably hold this for the guaranteed draws. Obviously, it also depends on like the strength of your hand, but I mean, yeah, again, like this card's really good, and you can play around talents based on making reads on what your opponent can be on.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's the main deck. I guess we didn't talk much about Impulse, but this card's really good. Really good in the mirror. It like skips their turn a lot. So a lot of people don't play around.
It's also good against Bystial. I mean, they'll often pigeonhole themselves into a node play.
Yeah.
It's obviously broken when you have a trap engrave. Like
I had an opponent Actually, I won a game because my opponent like played around impulse, and because he did that, he like left himself open to my Slayer, and I won.
Yeah.
All right.
Cards.
Yeah, 40 cards in the main, clean 40. Again, we said max consistency. I don't think there's a reason to play more than 40 when we explain how good each card is. We want to just see them as much as possible.
You want to draw Dormouse, bro.
Yeah, you want to draw Dormouse, you want to draw a lore. Every time I saw a lore, I won. I don't think I lost a game where I drew a lore, except for top 32, where I drew two allures, and Aditya goes, what's the name of the...
Moon
Moon
Glacier?
Glacier hits both my allures. And he's like, I'm sick. I'm like, no, I'm sick. What are you talking about?
Bro, I lost game 1 in top 32 because I put my opponent on literally just Dormouse, clear every single card, Cryptor, GWC. I set up a board going second with a weak, and I started really weak too. I was like surprised I got there. He top deck a lore, draw 2, banish Dormouse, and the draws were Field Spell Talents.
That card is
Unfortunate.
Quantum Yu-Gi-Oh, bro.
So, for the side, I guess we can start with the Floodgate hand traps. We have 3 Lances, obviously, just Maliss hate. We have Perulia. This was probably This was probably like the flex spot of like what we were trying to fit in our side deck. We ended up going with Perulia. It was pretty much like Perulia, Droll, or Shifter. We don't like Droll for the main reason that like Perulia kind of does the same thing but just gives you draws, right? Your opponent, if you draw your opponent, they end on detonator pass. If you Perulia your opponent, they end on detonator pass, but you get 2 draws. So there's like, it just loses to Ash, right? But in combinations with Fua and stuff, like I still think this is better.
And you guys didn't fear any of the other decks that are typically susceptible to draw, like Blue Eyes or...
Every deck that is susceptible to Droll or Shifter is literally the absolute buy for Maliss.
Yes.
I'm saying if you're playing Odeon, some terrible Beansmith pile, if you're playing Blue Eyes, you're gonna just lose to Maliss. Like, you shouldn't take those decks to a tournament at this point before a ban list, because you're gonna walk in until you meet your first Maliss player, and then it's a borderline unwinnable matchup. So at that point, it's like, I don't think we even need to side for a deck like that when our Impulses, our Ashes, our Bystials cover all those rogue matches so perfectly.
Yeah,
you know?
like Blue Eyes, I had a Blue Eyes opponent, and like, he full comboed me. He had Barrel plus Sage. All I had to do, Bystial, both his Blue Eyes, I turned off all his disruptions. I turned off his Majesty, his Jewel Beam. All he had left for me was 1 Ash Blossom, and I didn't even kill him. I just like broke his board entirely. And then like
All right, next cards.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we have the call by. I mean, I don't need to explain this one.
Is there, just out of curiosity, is there a reason you guys decided to side it and not main it? Because
No one mains Lancia.
Yeah, no one mains Lancia, right? So we just sided it. This card always goes in post side because this card is always going into our opponent's deck's post side, right?
Yeah.
So this is our one like hard out to Lancia, and that goes into like the thrust. We decided to not play cross out for the main reason, and I think Jesse agrees with this. Cross out, you have your cross out target, bad card. Thrust, your thrust target, good card. So if you draw your thrust target, you're happy. If you draw your cross out target, you're sad. And your thrust targets like are much better than what cross out actually does. Cross out stops a hand trap, and then like you might be able to play, but they could have more hand traps. Whereas thrust just like turn skips your opponent. And we know that like if we even make a half board, that is so much momentum with our deck, with bodies on the field and everything, that it's over by then.
Yeah. This card is just way more flexible for us. Like, if we don't get Lancia, but we're playing into a board, this card is a legitimate win con. Like, even when we go second, being able to thrust into Slayer when we get draw phase Lancia.
Or Talents or Allure.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the flexibility of this card was significantly better for us. And, like, as you can see with our deck, like, we don't really have a bunch of random cards in here. Random engine pieces, like all 3 ofs, like basically max every single card that we want. And so we want every single hand to just look crazy, right? And in order to do that, we wanted to make sure we have the highest card quality and not have cards like Mulch Armies or Lancias in when we go first. And also, we don't really play any other hand traps, right? Like, there's no Veilers, there's no Imperms, there's no nothing. So like, Crossout didn't make sense for our list, and Thrust was really good for me.
Yeah, the siding patterns, me too. The siding patterns were so clean where you just take out 3 Fuas. Going first, you take out 3 Allures because you don't need the gas, and you need to be able. A lot of people like standby phase their Lancias, so you don't want to like watch your Allure and be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't want it to be a blank.
Yeah, you don't want it to be a blank, right? And then I guess for the thrust targets, the main 2 were DDG and Gnomes. So Gnomes is just a really good card. If you make any kind of half board against Ryziel, this will completely stop them. This might not seem that good against Fiends with Ryzeal, but the thing is, because we play so many Bystials, the Bystial plus Gnomes is also FTK, where they can't play. Every time I flip this card on my opponent, they like tried to break my board, and then they ended on like a bunch of bodies, like no boss monsters. So it was just great. And
Basically,
then
anything that Fiends with Ryzeal can do under Gnomes loses to anything in our deck.
Yeah.
And so at that point, it's like all we need to do is prevent Ryzeal plays. And so this card is just D-Barrier, but for 2 turns.
exactly, yeah, because you can banish this card from the grave and do it again. So this is like, oh, you get double answered. Okay, mischief on one turn, mischief on the following turn. That's all you need to do. And then DDG was to cover those rogue matchups we talked about. This card, I'm going to show in a second, we're not playing any back row hate. This card could have been Duster or back row hate for Thrust, but the setting patterns, like trying to fit Duster in going second, kind of like there wasn't a lot of room. And we were thinking that a lot of, like everyone's playing back row hate now, right? So we were trying to be one step ahead. And because everyone plays back row hate, we think that people aren't going to be on strike anymore. So we want to be one step ahead and not play the back row hate. Kind of just a meta call that we made. And I did get striked like a few times, but I saw it less than like I saw it at like Orlando, for example. So I think we made the right call in that aspect. Yeah.
I also think the deck is like really, really capable of playing into Solemns if you just have them in your mind and you don't just like sending it into Link 3, because your opponent basically has to have Lancia or resolve full combo for you to not be able to link ladder up into, like as a spoiler, we play like Nightmare Phoenix, we also play SP, so we're always cracking every back row, and then at the end, combo and they die. Right?
Exactly, yeah. Then like, and again, like if we make SP to out back row, like you don't need to kill your opponent.
Right, they
like,
don't die.
You
Like,
need to break
combo.
their board and you full combo, and then now they're on less cards and they can't break your board. So yeah, so again, like the DDG, that was just for like Blue Eyes, Mermail. Those are the main two. Memento.
Any deck we're not supposed to lose to, but technically could if we got like Lancia at a ton, right?
So we just put this card in. And then the last cards were the Goats. I only drew this card like one time, I think. But this card is really good. Unfortunately, like, didn't see it that much. I don't know if you saw it much.
This card was nice for me, and there was a game I lost where I had it where I misplayed it. But it should have been nice for me that game as well. So I would say every time I saw this card, it was nice, for sure.
And so the main reason why we played Goats, you might notice we don't have a lot of like non-chainable set like traps or spells, right? Pretty much. We know everyone's on back row hate. So everything we play is chainable.
Yeah,
right?
The only thing is metal, but post side against Ryzeal, we don't.
Yeah, we
usually
only
said
said this in the mirror.
Yeah.
I never said this
Against
except for round one.
Ryzeal, like there's some situations where you have to set it to protect your life.
Right.
But like as long as you have any kind of board, like disruptions, stops, whatever, you can hold this, because then what is the win con for Ryzeal? Like no matter what they do, they crack your board, they clear your board, whatever. The only thing they do after that is detonate or pass.
Yeah, exactly.
So if this card's in your hand, you know you win, right? Unless they find Ash.
This
right?
card was strike for a second, and then we just found ourselves losing to back row hate way too much. So we put this card in, it gets dustered, like GWC, TB, whatever, right? We just chain it, and then you chain this card and you call Detonator against Ryzeal. Now they can't end on anything. If you have an empty board, you call Duo Drive.
By Lancia.
Yeah, you call Duo Drive, and then on your turn you banish it, call Detonator. Their engine doesn't do anything.
Yeah. That was the mistake I made in Swiss. I had called Duo when I had a half board. I should have called Detonator to prevent them from making it in the first place. Because I didn't care if they tried to combo, I could stop them. But if you have absolutely nothing, this stops them from summoning Duo, so they can't combo. And then the graveyard effect says they can't use the effect of the monster on field. That stops Detonator from interrupting you, and then you can just play for free.
Yeah, the one time I got punished post side for setting this, round one, game 3, bro. My opponent goes first, okay? Then I Perulia him, and I Fua him, and he normal summon sword, searches, sets one pass. My hand is not good enough to beat the one strike because he just strikes my normal summon, right? Then I have metal, called by, MTP. And I'm like, alright, usually I wouldn't set this metal, but I went second, so surely. Set 3, I pass. This guy hits me with, I have SP on board. Lightning Storm, wipe the back row. I'm like, there's no way. Why is that in? Slayer, out my SP. And then, I lose, obviously. And he goes, oh yeah, those were my crossout targets. I wanted to puke in that moment. That was so sick.
Alright, want to go to the extra deck?
Yep, so that's the side. Excuse the technical difficulties. Now onto the extra deck.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, the Link one, Link Decoder. That card's about to get banned.
Yeah, low key, 2 of this came up multiple times in testing. Just saying.
Would you guys
advocate for it?
Would you rather have a Ling Garibo? Did Ling ever seem like a viable option?
The only reason Ling Garibo would be viable is when you want to make SP and you want to keep this in your extra deck. So
by having 2 is the same.
So having 2 is the same. So I'd rather play 2 of this than play Ling Garibo.
If you play Shifter, you can like beat Imperm on Dormouse if your hand is weak by like normaling Dormouse, linking into Ling Garibo, bringing it back because it's under Shifter, and now you have a negate for Imperm. We don't play Shifter, so that wouldn't come up for us.
Yeah, exactly. So we thought this card was fine. The Ling 2s, we have Haggard and Splash Mage. Those are just like the combo pieces. IP is really good like for when you get Lancia and on half board. And also, our 2-card combo with Bystials ends on IP, plus A-Bow and into Griffin. SP, like, it's so broken how this card is not like an end board piece. It can be, but it's really just like a combo piece. It's so good. Banish your own cards from the grave. It's like, I made this card every single game where I comboed. I never like didn't make it. It's too good. And then we have the Nightmares. So we have Phoenix and Cerberus. Jesse said it earlier. Phoenix comes up for like clearing back row, which is really good. As well as Cerberus comes up for Chaos Hunter. I got Chaos Hunter once, and it was in top 32. I won that game because I had Cerberus actually, so that was really good. Otherwise, I think I like summoned it once off IP in a weird game state, but other than that, this card didn't come up much. But I'm happy I played it though, because otherwise I just lose to Chaos Hunter on the spot.
Yeah, it's basically an insurance card. Chaos Hunter is horrible though. Like that card, like I think a lot of people don't realize it misses timing.
Yes.
Yeah, very surprisingly, but like. I feel like the card's kind of necessary because of it.
Yeah, exactly. This card is like you said, insurance card. You just don't want to auto lose to Chaos Hunter, so you just play this card. Next, we have the Maliss links, 1 of each. Doesn't really need to be explained. Then we played the A-Bow Griffin line. I think this card's gonna get banned too, so I guess we'll see. This is also broken. Like you end on A-Bow. A-Bow is like infinite recursion, so your opponent literally like cannot. Like you never lose to like a top deck Lancia where they break your board. Like if they break your full board and then try to lance you on the following turn, you have A-Bow coming back. Like, this card's way too good.
How many times did you guys resolve the secret effect of A-Bow?
0, because my opponents...
I didn't activate it. They'll never play the game out that
way. Yeah. Like, by that time, they never passed their turn. They try to break your board, and then they scoop up their cards. They go, and... Okay, I'll pick up my cards. Access code. Honestly, I mean, this card just makes it easy to kill. It might not be, like... 100% necessary. I don't know if you...
I think you need it to kill in the mirror through like metals.
Yeah.
Because like your cryptor ends up like going.
This card, like honestly, what came up the most, if we exclude these, because these are just like broken, I would say, and like these are like the splash mage doesn't come up much, but you need it.
Yeah,
So the cards that came up the least for me were like Access Code, Cerberus. I made Phoenix a lot just to play around strikes, especially I got strike like round 1 and lost because of it. And then I was like,
on your brain,
the fear was in my mind. Honestly, yeah, those are probably the 2 cards that came up the least. Everything else, like, and like IP, but like you need IP. Everything else came up at least once per match, yeah. So, oh yeah, and then the last 2 cards. So that's the links. We have the detonator for metal and the aggregator for Slayer. So some people were like telling us like, oh, you place aggregator for your 1 Slayer, like. You're taking up an extra deck spot for 1 card in your main deck, but the reason why it's good is because we played the Thrust. So like we didn't Slayer just like once every time in a while. Like every time I got Lancia, I Slayered my opponent.
Did you guys ever summon it off of your Metaltronus?
No, because in the mirror
you're always summoning your own bodies
and banishing it face down. Like
except for if you're going first, like you're super solemn striking their guy with metal. If you're going second, you just get free bodies.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you just teleport engine out of your deck and then
I learned something. So you know how like you can dodge metal with a Book of Eclipse? In the mirror, if you need to just like metal their guy just to get a body break, you gotta hit the links.
Also, I noticed you guys weren't playing Dark. Did you guys ever consider playing it, or is there a reason you guys cut it if you were?
We considered it. It's just that, like literally, again, like if we could play 16 cards, I think we would have played Dark or a second decoder, but there's no card that we like were able to cut where like Dark doesn't come up that often.
I missed it once or twice. I'd say it's a very run dependent card. Like if you play a bunch of mirrors, like you're gonna wish that you didn't main the Slayer, you played a different 40th card and then had Dark. I think it's like a little bit, you know, situational. I guess is the right way to say it. Like it just depends on how your run went, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's
Actually,
the deck
one of my opponents in Maliss Mirror, he lost the game because he went dark. And my last card in hand was Bystial. He dark charted Whitebinder, Bystial, GG.
Yeah, the other thing is, in the mirror, like the dark loses to Bystials, and most people are playing 7 Bystials, so
All right. Well,
that's the deck we found.
thank you guys.
Shout out Ojama Blue.